Hello, welcome to the latest episode of Chatting with Dr. Stevel. We are here live with Robert Doan, who's the co-founder and co-owner of Sandstone Comics based out of PEI, Charlottetown, not a charlatan. That's me. I'm the charlatan. And Brad Seymour, the creator and artist of Glorybound, a brand new comic book based on pro wrestling, supernatural beings, and a whole lot of punching. Wow.
Yep.
Now, first of all, congratulations because you ran a Kickstarter for this, and it was totally funded within like 23 hours. How did that happen?
It just it blew me away. So we got funded in 23 hours. We made it just under the 24-hour mark, and I kind of hope that means that there's a lot of pro wrestling fans out there who are interested in a comic book right now based on pro wrestling. So I hope that's what got us funded.
That also, when I looked at your Kickstarter, your art is fantastic. That got my attention. Pro wrestling's another thing because, as you can see, I got a wrestling fan. I got a ring in my home right now, and the fact that one of the perks is that we can be inside your comic book, like being punched or hit and whatnot.
Yeah, we got a lot of great feedback on that one. Surprising how many people want to get punched or kicked in the face in a comic book. So it's going to be a fun page to draw. I got some crazy ideas in mind for it. So yeah, it's going to be a blast to get that drawn up for everybody.
Okay. Now before we go on to this is awesome. Robert, last time I saw you was London, Ontario, London Comic Con.
Yeah.
And this is where I was introduced to Sandstone Comics. I mean, me being in Toronto, the center of the universe, I didn't think any other provinces had comic books or anything, that you guys were capable of that. That all the other provinces are kind of backwards, but you've proven me wrong. You've come up with Sandstone Comics. This is what I got from you when I saw you. Did a little interview. Indestructible, that's your story, your hero. And that's based in Charlottetown or Charlotte City, right?
Charlotte City, alternate version of Charlottetown.
Okay, but he's a Canadian superhero, even though he doesn't have maple leafs on him, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. And after that happened, you did your own Kickstarter, which for Indestructible #2, which, as you see, I received.
Yeah.
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 And because of that, I went for one of the perks, to support the artist. There's me beating up on Indestructible.
Yeah.
One of my things.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Look how tiny he is. I'm like squishing his head. There it goes. Squishing your head. It was really fun. So that's the kind of perks I really enjoy. I mean, that's what kind of gets Kickstarter going. So now, Brad, why wrestling?
I recently got back into wrestling in 2015, and then I fell back in love with it like I did when I was a teenager during the Attitude Era. And I find with me, when I get into something new, I do deep dives. So I was rewatching old pay-per-views that I missed, wrestling podcasts on YouTube, wrestling sites. I fell deep into that stuff. And one of the websites that I used to watch, they would do a fantasy booking, like how they would do things differently than what happened. And I kind of ran with that idea, but I decided to turn it into a comic book. Because wrestlers are pretty much modern day superheroes. Some of the stuff that they can do in the ring is just, you only see that in comic books or comic book movies, but they do it in the ring without any ropes or wires or anything. So it was fun to take that world that you see on TV and put it into a comic book. And that was my goal.
Okay, you've got that happening, but what's to keep us from, I mean, your picture's great, I like it, but what's to keep us coming back for issue 2? Is it like good characters, or like they fighting super bad guys, or they're is it what's on the line for these guys?
Yeah, so it's kind of the classic tale of good versus evil. That theme is going to be in there throughout it. There's going to be lots of great action, but I have lots of great character moments, lots of little subplots. It's a term used in wrestling, long-term booking. So I kind of took that into the comic book as well. So you'll get a thread of something in issue 1 that'll pay off in issue 4. So that's something that kind of to keep everybody invested in going in with the next issue.
Wow. So you've definitely got more issues coming out. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. As long as they keep getting kickstarted, then I will keep bringing them to people for sure. Absolutely.
Here's a question. Now that it's funded, right? I mean, you still got 17 days to go.
Yeah.
And you're still trying to get more people to come in. Now, what do we get out of it? Like, it's already funded. Why not stop?
Yeah. So we've got a couple of stretch goals in there. So we just
What's a stretch goal?
Stretch goal. So that's we were looking to raise 1,500. That was just basically to cover the printing cost of the book, to get it out to people. So we got to that. And our first stretch goal is like we add in extra rewards once we hit a certain amount of money. So our first stretch goal was $2,000. And an idea that I had, I mean, growing up as a kid, I love trading cards, hockey, like the movie monsters, Garbage Pail Kids, like all that kind of stuff. So I thought it'd be a fun idea if we could get trading cards out to people. So we hit the $2,000 mark. So anybody who backed a physical copy of the book now is going to get 5 trading cards.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah, so that's great. And then one thing that I'm really excited about, if we get to it, if we hit 2,700, there's going to be a 28-page sketchbook. So basically from 2016 to October of 2019 was a big gestation period of all my ideas that I was trying to get into Glory Bound. And we've got sketches from the last 3 years, 4 years, what the initial characters, like designs for the original character look like, how they evolved, the way I changed the story. And then it'll have like director's commentary with everything, just to let everybody know where my mind was at when I was creating things. So it's constantly changed over the last couple of years, but you can see the bones were there right from the start, and then it just kind of evolved as I refined the process and honed in on the story that I wanted to tell.
Okay. Were these wrestlers inspired by any particular ones in real life?
Yeah, like I kind of did some of the wrestlers in a way. Anybody who is a wrestling fan, in the first issue, some of the background characters, you'll be able to look at them and go, oh, I know who he's putting in there. And I know like there's overtones to wrestlers. The main character, Jet, he's inspired by cruiserweights. So kind of like the high flying guys. That's the wrestling style that I really enjoy. If I could go back and train to be a wrestler, that's the type of wrestler I would be. I would be a cruiserweight. I'd be
You still can.
Doing moonsaults and 450s like Ricochet and Will Ospreay. I don't know if I could do that now at this point, but
Well, depends. How old are you?
I'm 38.
Okay, you don't look it, man. You totally don't look it. But DDP started at 30 in the late 30s. I'm just saying.
Yeah. It's I do hold on to that. I always remember DDP started late and he was a world champion. So yeah, maybe someday.
Or maybe you can manage like the Doctor did. See, I took over a wrestling promotion a while ago because they needed some bad guy, someone to create some drama.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, I could be a manager. If anybody out there, you need a manager,
Yeah, but you gotta be mean. You look too nice. Like, give me your war face. Come on. Fair enough. Okay, I got that. So, okay, why Sandstone Comics?
It was just a big swirl of the universe just kind of brought us together. Glory Bound, I was originally going to put it out as a webcomic. So I had been working on it for a while. And then Sandy and Robert asked me to come in to the office in January, I believe.
I think it was January. Yeah.
Yeah. They brought me in to talk about some stuff in January, and they were looking for someone to put a book out for them. They needed they had a hole in their lineup, so they needed someone to put a book in there, and they had followed, like, I went to Holland College where Sandy taught, so we kind of had that connection. And yeah, they just wanted, they brought me in, they looked at some of my work. I had an 8-page prologue for Glory Bound ready to go already.
Wow.
They were able to look at, and yeah, they offered me a chance to put a book out for them. So that's how that happened.
So with that being happened, Robert, Sandstone Comics is a publisher, right? So you
Yeah.
guys like publish all the books. You also print it there, or
Yeah, we got it printed down the road. Actually, the printing house is about 3 blocks from our office. So everything's created right here on the island. So, you know, Brad's doing the book. He's writing it, illustrating it, coloring it. And then all we do is slap it into a file and send it off to the printer. So everything's created right here created by one person and then printed by a house. So.
and how does that work in for independent comics? Because you know, there's the 2 big ones, Marvel, DC, and then maybe Dark Horse or whatever else is out there, Image. But as a small independent comic book, Canadian comic book publisher, how is that going, especially in PEI?
It's going pretty good. With the pandemic, you know, things have kind of not really halted, but slowed down a little bit. We lost our conventions to advertise, to gain new readers, but there's steps that we have to take to, you know, market around that so we can keep people coming. So Kickstarter is great because we can, you know, network outside of the province and pretty much around the whole world. We have backers coming in from Europe and Brazil and Mexico and the United States. So
Wow.
Without Kickstarter, we couldn't do it right now. And with a lot of the comic shops being closed, I think that's another reason we probably seen a huge boost in our first 24 hours with the book is people still want new content. And this is something, I don't think there's been a whole lot of wrestling books out there.
No, there hasn't been a whole lot. The only thing I can think of, Image put out a book a couple of years ago called Ringside.
Yeah.
But that's the only one that I know of. There's probably lots of independent books out there for wrestling. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I very hard to find them on the internet, a wrestling comic book. So.
Yeah, the only wrestling comic books I know that are existing are the ones that are bio comics based on like Nikolai Volkov, the Killer Bees. And then
Yes.
there's a friend of mine I just met, Sunny, the original Glow girl from Glow, not Sunny from the WWE, but the original Glow girl. She's got a comic book out also about her life. And these are the only wrestling comic books that I know about.
Yeah. No, and I think there's a good cross of fan base between people that read comics and people that grew up watching wrestling. You know, it was before the age of the internet, and I know that's what I did when I was a kid. We played hockey, watched wrestling,
road
read
hockey.
comics.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. I'm kind of looking forward to this. But when I read when I made the thing, you said pro wrestling and supernatural. So are these extra super strong characters that you got?
I had played around with that idea, but most people are human. There will be some extraordinary people out there. But yeah, I can't really say too much without giving anything away. But yes, be prepared for some interesting swerves.
Well, knowing this about you, Robert, you created Sandstone Comics as a universe, and Indestructible is in that universe. Is there a chance that maybe there could be a crossover?
There's definitely a chance. I know mine and Sandy's books are going to collide at some point, with maybe a team up between Century Man and Nucleus. But you know, that's up for Brad to decide what he wants to do with his. We're just putting it out there for him and publishing it. So what you get with Sandstone is you get total creative control of your own title. We
That's
have to
cool.
approve it, but that's for them to take in whatever direction they want to go.
That's fair, but it just came to me right now while listening to you guys. I mean, you got the wrestling ring, right? And if somehow you get a crossover, you can have Century Man, like, battling in a ring for, like, the to save the world against, like, who's that monkey, that space monkey that you got there?
Albert the Fifth.
Albert the Fifth. I love that concept.
Yes.
That could be fun.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Couple possibilities.
Yeah. Yep.
Free comic book day.
There you go.
There we
Yeah.
go. A free issue to give out.
Yeah. So Free Comic Book Day didn't go your way either.
No, it didn't go anybody's way this year.
Yeah.
But at least everybody's in the same boat, and it's not just certain places. But it's nice seeing comic book shops adapting and doing a lot of online sales, curbside pickup. So I think that's the main thing with everybody is they just have to learn how to adapt to the new market.
For sure. And because of the age of internet and whatnot and PDFs, digital comic books, do you find that a lot more people don't want the solid comic book in their hands?
No, I think there's still the people that want it. I know when I got back into comics, I started with reading CBRs and PDFs for Marvel and DC just to see what was out there. And then when I found what I liked, I went and bought the physical books. We do get a number of people on our Kickstarters that only back PDFs. But if you look at some of these users' profiles, like they've backed like 4,000 projects. So they just want to read the story and move on to the next.
Yeah.
But I think the collectors, we still sell the physical copies way more than a PDF.
And I just had a little mind thing.
Okay.
Mind blown. Huh. That's really awkward. Now, how many other lines and comic books do you have at Sandstone Comics?
How many comics do we have? So
Yeah.
just when I met you down in London Comic Con, we still the 72-page book. That was the launch for the Sandstone Comics universe. So instead of doing 3 separate issues, we wanted to pack it all in one so everybody knew what to expect going forward. From there, our third partner, Greg Webster, had ended up leaving the company due to personal reasons. So that's where we needed Brad to kind of fill in that gap of our release schedule for the year. But I kicked it off with my first book, Indestructible #2. That was kickstarted in December and released at the end of January. Sandy's book was next to be kickstarted in March, which was released last month. And then Brad's up next. So we're kind of going on a bi-monthly schedule. It's not every book every 2 months, but you're going to get something every 2 months.
And most of these will be funded by Kickstarter, correct?
Most of them, yeah. We're still in the infancy stage of a company, so cash flow is always tight. We have to pay for our office and whatnot, but Kickstarter is great. Even if we didn't need the money to get funded, it's a great way to network and still ship books out to people.
Oh, for sure. And meeting you in London, Ontario was fantastic because I didn't know anything about PEI or Century Man or anything. And this is great. More Canadian content. I really like to support that. It's just a thing, Canadian superheroes.
Yeah.
So
Can't be
what?
in Deadpool.
No.
Yeah, right. Now, are you the only comic book publisher, Canadian comic book publisher in the area?
No, there was another one started up shortly after us called Peckamoose Press, run by Troy Little and his wife, Brenda Hickey. They're best known for, she works on My Little Pony, or did, and Troy was working on Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons, and then went off to work with the Kevin Eastman on his book, The Radically Rearranged Ronin Ragdolls.
Wow. Say that 5 times really quick.
I don't even think that's the full title. I think there's more to that one too. But yeah, so they started up and, they're publishing their own stuff, which is great. They still work with IDW a little bit, but for their own creator-owned projects, they started up their own house to do that for.
Okay, now in order to get the Kickstarter, I've got the address down here, scrolling at the bottom of the screen, but you can also go to sandstonecomics.com.
Website is not up yet. I had a glitch there before I had to come to do this, but it should be up by the end of the day. But if you go to our Facebook page, Sandstone Comics, or you can order all of our books and any merchandise on the actual Kickstarter for Glory Bound.
Okay, now I was chatting with Brad a little earlier, and he was showing me some artwork. Apparently, your Kickstarter's not done. Your guys are going to hand out more rewards, huh?
Oh yeah, we got
Yeah.
tons of stuff.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Show us what you got. Let's say I don't. Let's say I missed the opportunity to get punched in the head, and I want to join on this Kickstarter. What do I get to? What's my perks?
Yeah. So when you jump in at the Kickstarter, you can pick whichever tier you want. We had the get punched in the face. So that tier is closed now, unfortunately, just because that was the one that people seem to get to first. So what we're gonna do is anybody that comes in late, we're gonna offer up some free art. Like I was saying earlier, I work all digitally when I was making Glory Bound, so I don't have any original pages or anything. But I do have some. I got some sketches here, so that's
All right.
Main character Jet Squires there. We'll put that up on the Kickstarter if anybody's interested in that. We got some. If you're a AEW fan, we got the Young Bucks there, done in pen and ink. What else do we got here? So we got Kylo Ren, because if you're like me, you're a huge Star Wars fan. Best thing about the sequel trilogy.
Yeah. So the best way for people to grab any of these is to like our Facebook page, Sandstone Comics. And what we'll do for these sketches is, depending on the sketch, it might be the next person that grabs this $60 tier will also get a sketch with it, and so on, just because of the get punched tier got eliminated so quickly.
Yeah, so you got like 7 different people you got to like make look like us getting
Yes.
our butts kicked.
Yeah.
Sweet. I'm easy. I'm bald and like scary looking, typical.
Yeah.
Except I normally have a scar down on my face.
We can put that in, no problem.
Excellent. Also, we got 17 more days, and we can still order Glory Bound if we want.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So it's good for comic book fans, wrestling fans, superhero fans.
Yeah, all ages. It's fun.
Yeah.
All right, that's awesome. Anything else you guys want to add to this? You want to tell us more about some of your characters at Sandstone Comics?
Sure. Well, Sandy kind of got a crappy end of the stick because whenever his book was released, everything got shut down and all the conventions were supposed to do. So you can grab his book, Century Man #1, on our Kickstarter. And it's a very awesome read. So he put that out last month. And so you can grab the whole bundle of the Sandstone Comics on the Kickstarter for, I think, $30.
Yeah.
All right, you've also got a good character, Irresistible. I mean, let's sell him.
Irresistible. Indestructible.
Indestructible. I can't read really well.
You got the comic there. So, yeah, grab both those books. They're good. It's just fun superhero stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell too much about the story because it's a slow burn storytelling. It's going to go for 6 issues, and it might be back after that, but it might also.
Look at the artwork on here, man. It's fantastic. Yeah. You are one hell of an artist. Another reason I'm going to pick it up for the art alone. Both you two are fantastic.
Thank you.
And Brad, I hear that you used to take animation, right?
Here in Holland College, or here in Charlottetown, we have Holland College, and they have a video game art and animation program. And I took that program, and that's where I met Sandy when he was teaching the graphic design program.
And you worked for EA Games after that?
Yeah, and I worked at EA Games here in Charlottetown as well too for a year. I worked on Simpsons Tapped Out, if anybody's ever played that game. So yeah, it was a fun time.
we got a comment that just says awesome.
Thank
So
you.
I guess you guys are awesome.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Anyone else out there listening got any questions? Just like type it up and we'll see what we can get. If not, like I originally wanted to come in with a mask, right? But I've got a green screen here. I got this really cool Hulk mask, but if I put it on, I kind of like disappear. It's like almost like a Harry Potter thing, but with hair.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
This I picked up in Mexico, but it's actually like a Hulk, like the green guy. Hence
Yeah.
the green screen in this.
Oh,
If
okay.
I get rid of the green screen, I can kind of show you. None. Yeah.
Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
yeah, there we go.
That's my
Yeah.
favorite.
See, it's got. But then, when we get into a cool background, all right, now we're live, and I just disappear. It's like really freaky. You try and punch me, no, it's not going to happen. The other one was a Nacho Libre, which obviously would be really cool for fans, but it's blue, and that also blends in, except for the front.
Yeah.
So isn't that kind of freaky? It's like an invisible man.
There you go.
But as you guys, since I'm a superhero fan, the Spider-Man one works, but you can't really understand what I'm saying. Sometimes green screen, it looks cool, but you just can't do some of the fun stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay. What were your favorite comics when growing up? Ask Shirgan.
All right, I'll go first.
Yeah, sure.
Superman, Hulk, and Batman were my three. I'd say Hulk is probably at the top of the list. Artists like John Romita Jr., Mike Deodato Jr., Alan Davis, Liam Sharp, Herb Trimp, all those guys were some of my favorite artists. And then Superman, just because I love the character. Yeah. And Batman.
Superman,
Yeah,
I think Superman's too powerful. I kind of liked him better back when I was reading the 30s, where he could just leap instead of fly. It makes more sense.
Yeah.
But the reason he can fly now was kind of based on Fleischer Studios. They were lazy. They, when they were animating, right? They didn't want to have him jumping all the time, so they just thought it'd be easier just to have him fly. So now he can fly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so my favorite comics growing up, when I started getting into comics in my early teens, that's Image happened, just brand new. So Todd McFarlane's Spawn was a big one. I went out and I made sure I got every issue that I possibly could. I read Batman. And then in 96 or 97, I came across my favorite comic book character now, Nightwing, the former Robin turned solo superhero. He got his own solo book, and I started reading that, fell in love with that character. And that's nowadays, if I step out to get a comic book, I make sure that I look for the Nightwing book every month. So.
Wow. And is he still in Bloodhaven?
Well, right now, depending on which comic you read, he's lost his memory.
Oh.
And he's Rick Grayson right now, no longer Dick Grayson. So he's doing the superhero stuff. Doesn't quite fully have his memory back yet, but he's gonna get there eventually.
Does he know who Batman is?
I'm not sure. If you just read his solo book, they only ever show up to him in costume. So he doesn't, he knows who Batman is. Whether or not he knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman, I don't think that's been revealed yet.
That's cool writing. It keeps you wondering and asking, like, what's going to happen next? What's going on? I like those kind of stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that you can still write new stories with new ideas after so long. So, after 6 issues, I kind of get frightened of what I might have to write next. But
because a lot of the stories, there's been like over 75, 80 years of comic book stories, and a lot of them are getting recycled. And as you see, similar to wrestling, right? Most of the storylines are getting recycled for new generation.
Yeah. But I mean, you can, anything like that, if you put an interesting twist on it, even if you can recognize that it's a you're using the same tropes and storyline over again. If you can just add enough of a twist to it to make it new, then that's what's great.
For sure. A new concept that we found out was you ever see the TV series or read the comic book called The Boys?
I watched the TV series, not the comic book series, but yeah.
The TV series is a toned down version of the comic book series.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah. I always recommend The Boys, and I said if you're not hooked after the first 10 minutes, you might as well just turn it off.
Oh, dude.
It just gets better after that. So
it does. At the end on the last episode, they took a twist that is totally not in the comics. So if you read the comics, you'll be super surprised and super happy. I mean, it just takes. It's a hell of a roller coaster ride. I definitely recommend it. It was a good idea. I liked it. I was happy to see it on TV. So that's the kind of new stuff we need.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, guys. So we the Kickstarter is just down here. It's banners. And for those that can't read that much, you can like click on down here. You still got about 17 days and you get really cool original artwork. Now, Robert, there was a Mr. Freeze picture that I saw online that you were going to donate to this Kickstarter.
Yeah, it's already gone. It got grabbed up in a couple minutes. But yeah, I just said, next person to pledge a certain amount gets the artwork along with that tier. So
you did, but you have that in front of you?
I don't. I think it's in my other office, but
because that is one fantastic piece of artwork. I just loved it. It's like, wow.
Thank you.
Both you guys are super talented. Hope you get picked up by the big ones, but you guys are doing really well with your comics. I just hope you get more of them.
We become one of the big ones.
So. Yeah.
Especially here in Canada. Hopefully we get the support from the rest of the Canadians.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So once you get your website up, sandstonecomics.com, and the Kickstarter, anything else you guys want to say to people out there?
No, that's about it.
I'll just say thank you for all the support that everybody's given so far. It's been amazing. So I was very nervous going into the Kickstarter. You always wonder, is anybody going to be interested in my wrestling comic book? But so the support has been fantastic, and thank you for everybody who's backed, anybody who's even just shared the links or anything, just to try and spread the word. Thank you very much.
Robert?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. It's pretty awesome. We were super nervous going into the Kickstarter. I think for the first hour, I think we only had like 1 or 2 pledges.
Yeah.
And then it just came in a wave nonstop for the next 20-something hours until it was fully funded.
Yeah.
So it was a huge relief off our shoulders. And I was like, well, what are we going to do with the rest of the 4 weeks?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what the stretch goals are for. So, if you're backing the book, you're probably going to get more than just the book for $5. And you're going to get some cards. Hopefully, if we hit that other stretch goal, you're going to get the other 28-page sketchbook to go along with it. And then, get shipped right to your house.
Yeah.
Love, keep putting out perks like the artwork that you showed me here today. I'm sure you're going to get that goal.
Yeah, no, we're going to start posting here later today. So you should at least see at least one piece a day.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Okay. Well, thanks a lot, guys. If you guys just wait, I'll chat with you after the show, after I sign off.
Cool.
Sure.
Right.
Yes. Good.
Okay, everyone. Thanks for listening to Chatting with Dr. Stevel. Tomorrow, the doc will be back at 2 p.m. my time. We'll be chatting with Prince Harry lookalike Reese Widdock and Sharon Osbourne lookalike Carolyn Bernstein. That's at 2 o'clock our time, 7 p.m. British time if you're in the UK. So I didn't show you that, did I? Crap. You know what? Let's share screen and boom. Share. Technical difficulties. There you go. Them the guy. Wait, that way. That way. Okay, yeah. I'm kind of backwards here. So, yep. Prince Harry lookalike Reese Widdock and Sharon Osbourne lookalike Carolyn Bernstein. I met both of them. Fantastic. I was happy and lucky enough to present them with awards in Las Vegas, and we'll be chatting with them tomorrow, 2 p.m. our time, 7 p.m. UK time. Okay. That was awkward for a bit, but thanks a lot, everyone. Signing out. Take care. Bye-bye. Trademark laugh. Got to do that. Okay, at least once.